Right then, let's do it.
Ancient Rome.
Oh. I like it.
Are you having me on? Are we in it?
No. That's the TARDIS translation circus.
Ah.
Things that look like English. Speech as well.
Oh. Person of interest. Whoa. Is that Karen Gillan? A really young Karen Gillan. Oh no. Is this
One mountain with smoke.
Vesuvius?
What is this?
Pompeii. We're in Pompeii. And it's volcano day.
It has come, as foretold in the prophecy. The box.
Whoa.
The blue box.
Modern art.
Whoa.
Out of the way, that's it.
Peter,
Oh, Rhombus, I'm a little bit piggish. Get me some ants and honey, there's a good lad.
who goes on to become a doctor, right?
Dormouse.
Plenty of time. We get everyone out easy.
Yeah, except we're not going to.
That's what you do. You're the doctor. You save me.
Not this time. Pompeii is a fixed point in history. What happens, happens. There is no stopping.
The ink is dry.
Says who?
Says me.
What, and you're in charge?
Not this time, Lord, yeah.
Donna, human, no. I don't need your permission. I'll tell her myself.
This is interesting, a fixed point that he cannot even attempt to.
Who are you?
I am Spartacus.
And so am I.
Mr. and Mrs. Spartacus.
Oh, no. We're not married.
Oh, the brother and sister. Yes, of course. You look very much alike.
Really? Oh, great. They can learn a new word as they die.
Donna, stop it.
Listen, I don't know what sort of kids you've been flying around with in outer space, but you're not telling me to shut up.
Look at this.
Lucius, my pleasure as always.
This looks like a pricey episode.
The prophecies of women are limited and dull. Only the menfolk have the capacity for true perception.
I'll tell you
Whoa.
where the wind's blowing right now, mate.
Consuming the vapors, you said.
They give me strength.
It doesn't look like it to me.
Is that your opinion? As a doctor?
I beg your pardon.
Doctor,
Whoa.
that's your name.
How did you know that?
And you call yourself noble.
Nothing.
Man from Gallifrey.
What?
What?
She is returning.
Who is? Who's she?
There is something on your back.
What's that mean?
A target?
Even the word doctor is false. Your real name is hidden. It burns in the stars, in the cascade of Medusa herself. You are a lord, sir. A lord
Of time.
of time.
This is most interesting. The tone of this and the fact that a future doctor is right here talking to the current doctor. Though of course in this he's clearly just another character.
You're not supposed to laugh.
Whoa.
Thanks for that. What do you think? The goddess Venus. Oh, that's sacrilege. Mates, did you go hanging about around the shops? TK Maximus.
Not
I'm
quite.
promised to the sisterhood for the rest of my life.
This whole town is going to get buried.
That's
Yeah.
not true.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
I've heard that before.
Everyone's gonna die.
An energy converter of what?
I don't know. Isn't that brilliant? I love not knowing. Keeps me on my toes. It must be awful being a prophet.
Whoa, look at this.
Gods are with us.
Water, we need water. Princess, all of you, get water, Donna!
Blessed are we to see the gods.
Yeah, it's gonna kill you.
Just tell me who you are. Don't hurt these people.
You bring bad luck in this house.
I thought your son was brilliant. Aren't you going to thank him? Oh, that'll be the day.
No man is allowed to enter the temple of
He's no man.
That's all right. Just us girls. Do you know, I met a civil once. The people of Pompeii are turning to stone before the volcano erupts.
Right.
But why?
This word, this image in your mind, this volcano.
Whoa, that makeup though.
More to the point, why don't you know about it?
And the breath of a paraffin will incinerate you, Doctor!
I warn you, I'm armed. Donna, get that grill open.
Just
You fought her off with a water pistol. I bloody love you.
This way!
I can see. What is it? A choice. Someone must make a choice. The most terrible choice.
Some things are fixed, some things are in flux. Pompeii is fixed.
How do you know which is which?
Because that's how I see the universe. Every waking second I can see what is, what was, what could be, what must not.
Whoa. All possibilities, huh?
It's the burden of the Time Lord, Donna.
Is that what you can see, Doctor? All 20,000? And you think that's all right, do you?
This is a complex issue, isn't it?
Why don't you just go home?
The heaven of Pyrovilia is gone.
What do you mean gone? Where's it gone?
It was taken. Pyrovilia is lost. But there is heat enough in this world.
Vesuvius is never going to erupt. The Pyrovar is stealing all its power. They're going to use it to take over the world.
Whoa.
But you can change it back.
I can invert the system, set off the volcano and blow them up, yes, but
That would mean...
that's a choice, Donna. It's Pompeii or the world.
Oh my God.
Nothing can survive it. Certainly not us.
Never mind us.
20,000 people.
She'll do it. Yeah, do it together. But... here it is. Just got launched. Whoa. Whoa.
Come on.
She tried. It's a different time, right? Go on.
Doctor, you can't!
He'll come back.
You can't just leave them!
Don't you think I've done enough? History's back in place and everyone dies.
The burden of being a Time Lord.
Can't you understand? If I could go back and save them, then I would, but I can't. I can never go back. I can't. I just can't. I can't.
Whoa.
Someone. Not the whole town. Just save someone.
Wow.
Come with me.
Whoa.
Who are you, Doctor? With your words and your temple containing such sighs within.
Oh, I was never here.
Time to move on, huh? Catherine Tate. Some fantastic acting, huh?
You were right. Sometimes I need someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Don't start, Dad. It's what all the girls in Rome are wearing. I'll see you later.
Have you seen that boy again?
Oh, look at Quintus. My son, the doctor.
Mum, I've told you I'm not a doctor, not yet. I'm just a student of the physical sciences.
It's a doctor to me. Give thanks to the household gods before you go. There's a good boy.
Is it gonna be the doctor?
Come here, let me fix it.
And Donna? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Thank you for everything.
Whoa. Right then, so, you know, that ending there, you can see that both Donna and the Doctor left quite an impression on this family and the different members of the family, or, you know, the family as a whole. I mean, essentially, they are these godlike figures that came into their lives, right? And, you know, essentially saved them from death and gave them another chance at life. And you see that, you know, in the final scene of the episode. And, you know, Quintus specifically, you can see that the Doctor had an impression on him, you know, so much so that it appears that his life path, or his path in life has, or his trajectory in life has kind of taken a bit of a, you know, turn. Or, you know, he's on a different path as compared to how they set him up in the beginning of the episode, right? That was one of the things I kind of found interesting, or even kind of funny, you know, the family dynamic. Even though it's ancient Rome or Pompeii, you see that, you know, they set them up as just a regular family, right? You have the teenager son who you know, kind of resembles the attitude of a typical teenager that you see in shows and films, perhaps, right? A bit of a rebellious phase. You can see that he's kind of going through a hangover of sorts, right? He's got the headache, and his father knows this. And that notion of them being these godlike figures, right, that came into their lives, you know, the TARDIS coming back, or, you know, after almost at Martha, after Donna, you know, convinces him to, you know, save someone, and he does go back for them. That moment, that is, to me, that's one of the iconic moments of the series, of the show I've seen so far. You know, the Doctor, and again, you know, the presentation of that, he is presented as this omnipotent, you know, larger than life, godlike presence, right? As he steps out of the TARDIS, and the light is just, you know, emitting from within the TARDIS, right? And spilling out. And he reaches out. And, you know, one of the really cool things about this is that scene, it's like a doctor kind of reaching out to a future doctor almost, right? Now, of course, you know, they didn't set it up like that. They had no idea. I'm guessing they had no idea about this, because Peter doesn't actually come on to be the new doctor for years after this, right? Because Matt Smith still has to come in. But, you know, it's one of those moments, just a really happy and interesting coincidence, isn't it? You know, now staying on the topic of Peter Capaldi and, you know, him going on to become the Doctor at some point, you know, so essentially feels like it might be similar to the actress who played Martha, right? That she was playing another character, but then they ended up recasting her, right? Down the line. I mean, soon after. But, you know, Peter comes back a few years later. Now, you know, it'll be really interesting to see if they somehow use this down the line, right? Now, of course, I'm guessing they had no idea at this moment in time that, you know, Peter might come on as the new Doctor, unless they did. I have no idea. You know, you guys are going to have to tell me about this. But, you know, if, you know, it'll be interesting to see if down the line, once he is on as the Doctor, if they kind of somehow, you know, bring this in almost, right? If they bring this up again somehow, or connect this somehow. You know, and I brought up the concept of a happy coincidence. How about, you know, Caecilius being fascinated with the TARDIS, right? He even deemed it modern art. And then, of course, you know, as I mentioned, that shot of Tennant's Doctor reaching out to him, and, you know, there's that poignant shot of them making contact, and the shot kind of lingers on that for a bit. And, you know, this immediately reminded me of one of his appearances on Graham Norton. You know, he told a lovely story on that one episode. You know, he's talking about how, you know, now I'm guessing at this point in time, he was the Doctor. I'm not sure how many years he was into it, but into his run. But, you know, he's telling a story about, you know, a young boy approaching him, right? And he mentioned the Doctor. Or Doctor Who, right? Now, Peter said that at this point in time, it wasn't official that he is taking on the role of the Doctor, or he is going to be the new Doctor. It wasn't official or like apparently he was one of the only few to know this at this point in time. So he said he was kind of baffled at this, at what the boy is saying. But then he said he had seen me in another episode, or he had seen me in an episode of the Doctor, or of the show, sorry. And I'm guessing this is the episode he was talking about, right? So it was such a unique situation as this child or this kid who came up to him pointed it out that, oh, I know you from that episode. Yet he doesn't know that he's actually speaking with the next Doctor, right? And also, again, he can't tell the kid that he is the next Doctor yet. So, there's this lovely moment as he implored the kid to, perhaps bring a camera, if he has a camera phone or a smartphone, that, let's take a picture together. So I thought that was such a lovely moment, such a lovely story. And he is such a lovely man. In that sense, I am, excited to get to his run as well at some point. Of course, that's down the line. And, speaking of characters or actors that do make it back onto the show down the line, Karen Gillan, a young Karen Gillan, also made an appearance here. At first, I didn't recognize her, because it was kind of like a distant shot of her. But then as, there's more of a tight shot of her face, yeah, I recognize that face. So I'm guessing this is similar to Martha's situation, or the actress who played Martha. She just happened to be cast, and then they recast her for another role down the line. So that was quite nice as well. But yeah, I thought that was a great standalone episode. It kind of followed the same formula almost of Series 3, right? Of course, the first episode of the series, establishing a new companion. And, like I said, in that sense, even the first episode felt like Smith and Jones, or similar tone to that, right? Now you have, the fires of Pompeii in comparison to the Shakespeare Code. Again, similar tone, isn't it? Again, going back to the past. It's not entirely the same type of tone, but there is a similarity there, right? In terms of, going back to a historic point in time. The episode itself, it was quite impressive in terms of, the set design and the locations and costume design. You could tell that this is, it's a pricey episode. Perhaps in terms of the budget. I'm really going to look up the locations they shot on or shot at because it was quite authentic, right? It really sold that time period almost, and that they are out there. Donna and the Doctor, that is. So, in that sense, quite an impressive episode. Now moving on to Donna Noble and Catherine Tate, for that matter. I thought she gave a nuanced and emotional performance in this one. She showed range. Now, I haven't seen much of Catherine Tate in anything else. The only thing I can really say I've seen her in is The Office, the American Office. She made an appearance on that for a few episodes, or perhaps a full season. Can't remember. But, it was clear that she was meant to be a comedic character in the Christmas special, her first appearance, right? Though, of course, even in that Christmas special, by the end of it, or throughout that episode, as it gets close to its conclusion, you do see that she has quite a bit of compassion and this humanity about her, right? And you see a lot of that in this episode. In that sense, you see a lot of character development for Donna's character already, right? And this is episode 2 of this series 4, and I'm loving it. I can already tell that this is going to be a fantastic Doctor companion duo. I mean, it already has the makings of perhaps my favorite duo. I could tell this is just going to be a fantastic time in series 4. And again, speaking of fantastic acting, David Tennant, that's a given. But I thought I should make a note of speaking about Catherine Tate's performance in this one. And it was so clear that she really is the perfect type of companion for the Doctor at this moment in time. That was clear even in the last episode, right? After having experienced Rose and then Martha, I felt like there needed to be a change up, and this is it. This is perfect. She is perfect for this new companion role. I just need a mate, Donna has so much compassion and humanity, right? Of course, for all those people out there. And you see that anguish and that panic in her as she's trying to, direct some of these people to safety, because she just can't bear to know that all these people are about to die, and she could have done something about it, and she tried her best, of course. And you see that heartbreak moment, right, in her eyes, in her demeanor, in that panic state. She really sold it. She really sold it, Catherine Tate. And right at the end in the TARDIS, the Doctor admits that, yes, you're correct, you're right. I do need someone, and that someone is Donna, Donna Noble. This one calls herself Noble. Oof. I'll get into that in a bit, but again, she's just perfect, and I think the Doctor knows this is exactly the type of person he needs at this moment in time. And this is someone that can challenge him, that can bring her own moral compass to situations, right? And that can provide a alternative perspective on things, someone that is not afraid to challenge the Doctor, right? And call him out on things. There's this great moment early in the episode as the Doctor and Donna go to the side, right? And she straight up tells the Doctor, I'm not sure what kind of kids or what sort of kids you've been traveling with out here, in outer space or on your travels, but you're not going to tell me to shut up, right? And again, that firmly establishes that this is an experienced individual, right? This is someone who has a lot of life experience in comparison to past companions such as Rose. And Martha, of course, Martha was a bit older than Rose and had much more experience, but Donna is even more experienced than Martha even. So, even from that angle, she brings such a unique perspective, right? Life experience, so much life experience. It's clear to see that this isn't the type of companion that needs to latch on to the Doctor. She has her own sense of morality, and you see that. You see that in the first ever appearance. You see that in this episode for sure. So, I'm already loving this dynamic and the chemistry. The moral dilemma explored in this episode is quite the hard-hitting one, isn't it? And there's a staggering moment, absolutely staggering moment, and one of the standout moments of the show. Easily. One of the, most iconic companion moments as far as I've seen in the 4 series. They're trapped in that escape pod, and she sees just how much this is, or how big of a deal this is, how immense this burden is that the Doctor is about to, take on this responsibility of knowing that he's about to cause immense death and destruction, right? And she sees that, right? And, she does something staggering. She decides to share that burden, right, as she puts her hand on top of his to assist him in going through with this. I just thought that was staggering. Incredible moment, really. And Donna Noble, I'm seriously just so happy about this new companion. She shared that burden with the Doctor. And you see the struggle in the Doctor's face. He knows it has to be done, but he struggles, in that moment in time. Because earlier on in the episode, he had no idea that by the end of it, he's the one who's going to have to, go through with this or put it into motion. He was just trying to get back to the TARDIS and get out of here, right? Because to him, it's a fixed moment, right? And he knew it's going to happen and that he just needs to get out of here. Of course, the TARDIS was gone at that point in time. Oh, sorry, I meant fixed point. So yeah, they explore that further, and it does kind of explain a few things, doesn't it? Because it was a big gray, or it was in the gray area in terms of kind of how does he go about changing things, or the things he's allowed to change, or the things he doesn't change, the burden of being a Time Lord. They explored that further in this episode. And, they even established the Time War. They firmly established it as a fixed point. And there's quite a poignant parallel in the TARDIS at the end, as he's speaking with Donna about, no matter how much he wants to change it, he can't. He simply cannot change anything. And And, that kind of doubles, right? For the family out there, or, saving someone or saving people here in Pompeii. And it also doubled for the Time War, right? So I thought that was a great scene. And, Donna does come to the harsh realization and does face a harsh reality, or has to accept the harsh reality that no matter how much she wants to save everyone, she simply cannot save everyone. It's just not going to happen. And she does, end up accepting that as well. Again, no matter how much it hurts. And you see that she holds on to that belief or that attempt right till the end, right? But she doesn't completely give up. She knows she cannot save everyone, but that compassion does allow her to convince the doctor to save someone, just one. And, of course, that ended up being the family. And again, this is some of the acting I was speaking of earlier on. Catherine Tate in that moment, her plea to the doctor, emotionally moving, right? She was so impressive in this episode. And, and in terms of the family, that moment as they're huddled up together, in their final moments, accepting that, yeah, they're about to die. Whoa. Yeah, that had me choked up. It's an emotional moment, and you see Donna's reaction to that. Again, she's teary-eyed and just horrified at the situation. She's yelling for the doctor. He can't do this. Come back. Now, one of the most fascinating scenes of this episode. Oh my God! This felt like such a big setup moment. And I could tell that this is going to play a part down the line for sure. Some of the things that are being said here and established here and being set up here, I'm not going to forget them. I'm going to keep them in mind because they are quite distinct. And again, they have that grand feeling of, the pieces being set up. Now, I'm speaking of this scene of Caecilius's daughter, right, and this other guy. I can't remember his name, unfortunately, but, he's the other oracle. He said, this is the gift of the oracles of Pompeii. They speak the truth. As both of them kind of go back and forth and start dropping some insight. Now, they're saying things like Gallifrey is lost. Gallifrey is burned, right? That she has something on her back, that she is returning, or she has returned. The name Doctor is false. Now, let's tackle some of these. Doctor, she is returning. Now, of course, the first thought kind of goes towards Rose, right? Is he speaking of Rose? Or is he just speaking of someone else entirely? And, the whole aspect of Rose could be a red herring. I could see that because, they really made a big deal out of this moment. And again, the doctor doesn't quite know who's returning, who's she, right? So that's certainly something to keep an eye out for. Are they, much like the Master, are they also establishing someone else from the Doctor's past once again? It certainly had that grand feeling about it, didn't it? And then, of course, you have something on your back. To me, it immediately goes to like a target on her back, perhaps because she is traveling with the Doctor, right? Or maybe some sort of shadow is on her back, right? That might attach itself to her. And, of course, Caecilius's daughter, in this trance moment almost, right, is speaking of how even the term Doctor is false, right? So alluding to potentially the real name of the Doctor, right? The real identity of the Doctor might be explored further down the line, maybe, or maybe even in this series, right? Or not the identity, his actual name, perhaps. They are setting up something like that. And then, in that sense, another thing that I am going to keep in mind is this concept of planets being lost or taken, right? Again, he mentioned Gallifrey. Then in this episode, once again, they mentioned that their planet has it's been lost, it's been taken. And then, of course, in episode 1, the Adipose, right? Their breeding planet was taken or lost. Again, these things are unmissable. There is some kind of connection here. So yeah, this is, this cannot be ignored. This felt like a major moment. And I'm going to keep a lot of these things in mind. So I think that's about it for this episode. I love that reference to Spartacus. I am Spartacus, so am I. So both of them ended up being Spartacus. But yeah, I thought that was a great standalone episode, that's for sure. And, you know, much like Gridlock in Series 3, this had some fascinating moments, right? Things that clearly have connotations in terms of the future of this series, or this Doctor, or the Doctor in general. So yeah, you know, I'm gonna keep those things in mind. So if you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments. I love hearing from the Doctor Who fans. And in comparison to some of the other content on my channel, the comment section for Doctor Who stays quite manageable, in the sense that I can actually get to pretty much all the comments. You know, I actually get to read all the comments. So yeah, you know, do consider dropping some comments. I do enjoy checking them out, and they're quite insightful a lot of the times. So yeah. Always a pleasant experience. If you're interested in full length for this episode, or maybe even early access to the next episode right now, consider checking out the Patreon page. It's just an option for anyone who is interested in content beyond the scheduled content. So yeah, the links for that, or the link for that, is in the pinned comment, and the links to my social media are in the pinned comment if you're into that. Right then, so that's about it for this one. So excited to continue this series 4, Donna and the Doctor. I feel like I have a lot of fun stuff ahead. Thank you for checking that out. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you again soon. Until then, take it easy.